Welcome back from the commercial break, dear viewers and listeners of Smart 24 TV, as we continue with our discourse over, reflecting and analyzing the economic policies of our country. And we were been moving on very well with our dear guest, Professor Augustine from Victoria University. He is the Deputy Vice Chancellor in charge of academics, and he is an expert in natural resource management, and with experience that has been sharing with us. We hope that dear viewers will be able to undertake some steps that can turn around what has been the usual, and it takes us to what should be the extra usual, which is a transformation. And in this, what we look at the recommendation in this last session, all that has been said regarding to the potential of education and natural resources. We believe that we can transform our economy. And looking at the recommendation on those two areas of our concentration or concern this morning, education, we have some substantive main recommendations that you may propose as an expert. And also, we look at the natural resources, the substantive recommendation we can propose with the valued discussion that you've been able to grant to us in your submission, and to the viewers and listeners. We can turn around our current situation into a better way of lifestyle. I was talking about during our break, right now a kilogram of fish is 20,000. If you don't have it, you go where the whatever selling centers, you cannot get a kilogram. Yeah. And yet what is provoking and also challenging me, even myself, I can be able to do fish farming for purpose of home consumption and also for commercial. Yeah. Then there are also other areas that we can concentrate on, and that's a natural out of water. Utilize water and then do farming. That's agriculture, fish farming. And out of that even it can lead to exportation. Because if we continue this cast of fish, I'm aware that there is high level of exportation of fish that's happening in this country, but the production is still very low. So production, value chain, it should be the language for all of us. You in the government, you are not in the government, we are citizens. Our role as a media house is to avail to you the available potentials that you can use, and we fight poverty, we fight low income that is manifesting in our low developed economies, and then leading us our GDP to increase. Not the GDP that we are talking about in Uganda, where you find they are around like maybe 10 or 5 wealthier men and women who are contributing the tax base around 5 billion shillings as tax. Professor, it's a pleasure once again to have you as you give your substantive recommendation that you propose to the policymakers and researchers. I had you, calling upon the researchers, come on, everybody should wake up and we build our economy.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Once again, let me summarize by saying that today's job market and the future job market have become technologically enabled, and it's technologically driven, and it's now very, very disruptive. I talked about where we are going, which is where artificial intelligence is going to play a significant role in the way the job market is framed, which means that government now, as a recommendation, needs to begin to find a strategy to develop the digital world, develop digital literacy among people, whether at the university level. In fact, digital literacy for me should start as early as nursery to primary school, because we are going and moving into a digital world, a world that is going to be controlled by artificial intelligence. And if we don't have the human capacity now, as always, Africa will be lacking behind. So we need to begin to develop and plan for the digital future that is coming. So that is critical. Also, educators around Uganda and Africa.
So that's the digital education.
Yeah, that's digital education needs to become very prominent across the curriculum in all levels of education in Africa and here in Uganda.
Okay.
Because we're moving into a technologically enabled workforce.
Okay, sir.
And if we are not digitally literate and not digitally ready, then you can't do anything. You won't be able to contribute to that economy.
That's right.
And that's why educators, it's exactly what we do at Victoria University to ensure that everybody that come through us have that digital literacy. You do exams online now, you do a lot of things online. We want people to be able to do things digitally when they graduate and not just become liabilities even with a certificate.
Okay.
Yeah.
More other recommendations, because I would like to look at the
also when it comes to
across education and across the natural
resources. So when it comes to natural resources, I think government needs to look at its policies again. More importantly, we need to think about how we collect rent from our natural resource exploitation, whether by local or foreign companies. We need to think very carefully about how we invest our resources. If you're going to grow your economy, you're going to be a productive economy and not a sharing economy. Don't share money because you want to keep people happy. Rather than give people fish, teach them how to fish. For example, we know what's happening in Karamoja, for example, and this is not new. We've known this problem of drought and all of this and people dying of hunger. And we go there and share money to people and share food to people.
How can such situation be tamed? Because you brought the current issue of Karamoja, and all of us, none could want to see the Karamoja suffering and dying of hunger. It is an untold story to register.
Karamoja is not as dry as Israel, and Israel is producing so much food. Again, technology driven. And that is why we need to upskill ourselves. I'm not sure, I haven't checked what the ground level, the water level is, how deep water is in Karamoja, but no matter how deep it is, we are at a time where technology is available to do so many things. So I think we need to see how technology can help us to turn that dry land into a productive land. If Israel could do it, we can do it. And one of the things you do is, if others are doing it, go and learn how they're doing it and come and replicate that same thing here.
The transformation, the mindset change of the people of Karamoja seems to be very moving at a very low pace.
Yeah, but that's where government has a role to play. The problem that, not just Uganda, but everywhere Africa, when there is problem like this, we go and just to make people happy for a while, share food, share money. Don't share money. Teach them how to make money. Find a solution to that problem that they've got. And that way, they themselves can liberate themselves out of poverty.
So the distribution of food relief, it is firefighting. It is just...
Yeah, it's always a firefighting. There's no strategic plan to solve the problem permanently. The situation will be worse going forward because we're going to see more climate change impact in those areas. But I always tell people, if Israel can do it, as dry as that place is, anyone else can do it.
Anyone can do it.
Yeah.
Yes, there are more other recommendations that we need to have, for our viewers and listeners, and that are supportive to the natural resource utilization, especially in the area of land and the area, of course, land that deals with agriculture, and also the area of investment. What much more best that can be done in that area? You had talked about cooperatives, you had talked about having agricultural bank, something like that.
Yeah, I think, for example, agriculture being a major contributor to the GDP of Uganda, government needs to do a bit more to position agriculture to increase double, triple, or even quadruple its current production. That is possible. Now,
how can it do it?
A big challenge oftentimes for farmers is capital. And government need to think about forming agricultural cooperatives that can work together. I was telling you that what one farmer in the US produces, it would take 10,000 farmers in Uganda to produce. Why? Because they have access to capital, so they can mechanize the agriculture, they can enhance a lot of things, and so the number of acres that one farmer farms, you need 10,000 people in Uganda to farm it. So why not form cooperatives? And with the help and support of the government, you can begin to mechanize the agricultural process. You can begin to create processing centers and processing facilities, because even some of these crude farmers who are producing goods. Their goods are rotting out, are getting spoiled because there's no easy means of transporting them or preserving them or processing their product. So this is where government intervention needs to come in. Agricultural bank, it's important. Agriculture, it's a mainstay. It's the biggest one of the biggest contributors to your GDP. So why not have a bank for agriculture that supports farmers?
Now to education, do you have a course? I'm coming for that, for practical purposes. Do you have courses which are ranging to all these areas we are talking about?
Yeah, so we currently have
do you have a bachelor's certificate degree in agriculture?
Yeah, so we have a bachelor's in agriculture and rural innovation. So these are things that we are thinking of, we're also talking about. These are things teaching students to become independent. And at the moment, we're working with some partners to really start and improve our practical approach to agriculture. So we want our students to go out and actually go there and make a change in the farm sector, in the agricultural sector. So yeah, we have a degree in agriculture and rural innovation. And I often tell people that give it another 20 years, the richest people in Africa will not be these oil and gas people, it will be farmers. This is the time to position.
Thank you so much. Our capacity to explore minerals, mineral exploration seems to be limited. Of course, I cannot make my country fly when it is walking.
Of course.
And I have to talk about all these realities. It seems to be limited. And of course, compared to our national annual financial revenue collection of 48 now, the current one, even part of it which is to be board funds, 48.3, around 3 trillion shillings. And amidst when we are indebted 73 trillion shillings, and you see the debt and the national is higher. And yet we are talking about this good thing, which is a good one, because to me, if we were able to have effective investment done for the natural resources, the minerals which we have, maybe we could be able to begin to recover from a high national indebtedness. And I don't know, in your opinion and recommendation, how can we make a balance of this? We need to utilize the natural resources, but our capital investment very much limited at a macro level. And in a medicine, we're having other challenges, a high national indebtedness, and with low revenue collection. That's the dilemma we are in.
Unfortunately, it's going to be hard to get out of this dilemma because until you get to the point when you're producing more, your recurrent expenditure will continue to be higher in your budget. So what is the way out? Education. You need to invest more in education, upskill the people, they will earn more, and when they earn more, you have more money to pay off your debt. Invest in infrastructure. When you invest in infrastructure, your productivity will increase. And when your productivity increases, you earn more, you get more from taxes, and you have more money to pay off your debt. But if you're not doing these two things, it's going to get worse by the year, because you're going to find out that your borrowing will have to continue to increase to sustain the economy, because you're owing more than you're producing.
Thank you. What's your last word to the viewers? You were inspiring us on having cooperatives. You're inspiring us about having, the agricultural bank. And here we are. We want to have the economies where your economy will be doing even better where it is all over Africa, and basically back here to East Africa. It is our inspiration, and I know it is your passion. What's your last word to the viewers?
So to end, I would say that education plays a very significant role in the life of every population. The progress of every nation depends on how skilled and how knowledgeable the people are. So government should pay particular attention to the education of the population. If you get a highly educated population, you will get a very productive people, productive economy, and you will lift people out of poverty. And let's also look at our natural resources. Let's utilize them much more effectively with the right policies, the right framework, so that these natural resources don't turn out to become a disease, a cause for the nation at the end of the day. So for me, these are two important things. Educate the people, government invest more in education, and let's get people out there who are highly skilled in relevant programs, who have the right knowledge, and it's not just about what they know, but what they can do with what they know, which is very important. Yeah.
Dear viewers and listeners, take serious those points. We are dealing with the education of a rising up a generation to be ready to face the current challenges and with a solution that when you go to school and after you come out of school, be ready to face the world, ready to do what is needed to be done, not only what you know and the certificate and the transcript which you possess. And as we just unfold our hands and be ready to go out and work, then we shall be part of this chain and this paradigm shift of having our country being uplifted from the low developing economy to a developed economy. It's our dream, us as a station that must strive faster and strongly to have Uganda as a developed economy. It has been a pleasure to be with you, our dear guest, and thank you for generously sharing the knowledge. No wonder why you're a professor, because that calls for knowledge sharing. Yeah. And we pray God continue keeping you until we just have you again.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, send our greetings to those of Victoria University. We appreciate for your contribution in such kind of platform of community service, which should be impactful to the community. Until we meet next weekend, God bless you. Enjoy your weekend. And also don't forget to go to pray to worship God, especially for tomorrow Sunday. We love you, and Smart 24 TV continue to drive business.